Hello, I'm Maciej Mikos. Welcome back to World Talks, where every word matters. As the dust after the pan-European election settles down, major parties are negotiating their leadership and debating over the shape of future coalitions. And some MEPs even consider changing their alignment in the European Parliament. To talk about the latest from Brussels, we're joined by Polish MEP Michał Wawrykiewicz from Civic Coalition and European People's Party. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, a lawyer, now a lawmaker, right?
Exactly.
Today, a presentation of certificates of election to the European Parliament took place. Where's yours?
I didn't have a chance to pick up my certificate because I had a lot of tasks and new obligations in Brussels, so I had to be in Brussels today in the morning, but I will pick up it tomorrow, definitely.
Right. Were you in Brussels yesterday as well?
Yes, I was in Brussels yesterday and the day before yesterday, so a lot of things are going on.
So you must have witnessed yesterday's negotiations within the EPP. Could you share some details?
It was a very important day for EPP group and the whole parliament, because the EPP group is the largest group in the parliament, 190 members of the parliament. And yesterday we had an election of the presidium of the chair of EPP group and the vice chairs. Manfred Weber became a new chair of the EPP group, and Andrzej Halicki, Polish MEP from Civic Coalition, is a vice chair with the largest amount of votes among vice chairs of the EPP group. And also EPP group selected a candidate for President of the European Parliament for the next term. It is, of course, Roberta Metsola.
All right. So we know what happened yesterday, but you know, media were informing that there was a certain row between the Polish and German EPP MEPs. Were they right?
Well, it is the politics. It's quite normal, so nothing actually happened. There were discussions about who is going to be presented to the presidium of the EPP group. I mean, who is going to be Polish vice chair of the EPP group. But finally, because that was the decision of the Polish delegation, to elect Andrzej Halicki as a vice chair of the EPP group, so everything is fine.
Right. Today, our reporter had a chance to talk to Andrzej Halicki, and he clearly specified that he'll focus on the issues of security in Europe, and I'll ask you more about that. But first, let's both listen to Andrzej Halicki.
The geography and the map, political map in the European Parliament is completely different than the 5 years ago. Because when I started the first term, the majority was on Social Democrat side, more than, I think, 12 or 13 governments together. Now it's completely different. We have 13. When we think about Giorgia Meloni from Italy, or the potential changes in Germany or in Spain, also not the stable situation, we can expect 2 more on our side. So on the council level, I think that it will be completely different dimension, language and priorities than before. Why? Because security is number one. Security on many fields. This is physical security, of course, because of the aggression and we have the war in neighborhood, but also we have to protect our societies, the problem of migrants, how to control the border if the services are not cooperating well.
So security is number one, says Andrzej Halicki, the newly elected vice president of EPP party. Now, what are your priorities? I remember the election campaign to the European Parliament, and politicians were mainly talking about migration, about a Green Deal, and finally, of course, about security. So, which of those will you focus during your 5-year term.
You listed those most important priorities of the European Union in the next term. Definitely, I had a chance yesterday to talk with Ursula von der Leyen for a while, and she confirmed that security issues is the main priority, definitely, as we have a potential invasion in future from Russia, so we have to secure our border, the border of the European Union. So definitely this is the number one. But from my side, when it comes to what I'm going to do in the Parliament, rule of law is also a very important issue, and rule of law issue was also listed several times yesterday as one of the priorities for the next term, especially when it comes to EPP group, because we still have a couple of countries in Europe, member states, where the threat for the rule of law is serious, and the rule of law.
You're talking about Hungary?
I'm talking about Hungary. I'm talking about Slovakia. We'll see what will happen in France after the election. We'll see what will happen in Italy and other countries. So this is a very serious topic and a very serious threat for the integration of Europe, because we know that the rule of law is kind of frame of the European integration. Without respecting the rule of law, we cannot proceed with their integration, and we cannot talk about the security issues, we cannot talk about prosperity, migration problem, or energy transition.
Talking about integration and tightening ties, Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs Radosław Sikorski today had a chance to host his Latvian counterpart, Baiba Braže, and I'd like us to listen to what Radosław Sikorski had to say about regional cooperation.
Let's
give it a listen.
We are in agreement that in the face of the growing Russian threat, a re-evaluation of our alliance's strategy is needed. Both Latvia and Poland are victims of Russian sabotage, cyber aggression, and disinformation. We need expansion and effective implementation of the sanctions regime. The security of the eastern flank is our common priority. Our external borders are also the borders of the EU, NATO, the Schengen area, and we believe that the Union and its member states owe us solidarity. Or at least they should not impose budgetary restrictions on us because of our expenses.
So, given what Minister Sikorski has just said and the results of the elections to the European Parliament, would you agree that the cooperation in the CE region becomes even more important now than ever?
Indeed, it is very important to initiate regional cooperation, and we can observe it here in Eastern and Central Europe, because in January this year, Baltic countries announced the starting of a Baltic defense line in January. So right now we have a program of Poland's program, East Shield. And there are ideas to conjunct these two programs, Baltic Defense Line and East Shield, together. So that will be, I think, a very significant, important line of defense against the Russian invasion. Of course, we have to think about NATO first, European Union second, but third, regional cooperation. This is very important.
Why NATO first than the European Union? That's from the mouth of an MEP.
From a military point of view, of course, North Atlantic Treaty Organization is the most important guardian of our peace, and that's why I mentioned NATO in the first line. But of course, the cooperation between NATO, European Union, and member states is also important. So I believe that in the next term, that cooperation will strengthen.
Now it's only your first term in the European Parliament, but how would you rate the importance that Poles have these days within the Union as such and in the European Commission?
The situation,
and also in the respective European parties?
Yeah, the situation significantly changed for the good of Poland. Right now, the role of Poland is much more significant. I would say that Poland is one of the leaders right now of the European Union, especially after our experiences from 2023, when Poland and Polish society proved that we can beat autocracy in Poland, and we can get back to European family of Western countries, of Western democracy and values. So when we are discussing these issues in Brussels right now, today, everyone are listening Poland as one of the leaders and the most important countries. And of course, we have a strong delegation among these democratic parties in the parliament, especially in EPP, 23 members. It's the second largest delegation in EPP group after Germany, but before Spain. So I believe the role of Polish MEPs and the Polish delegation will be much, much more important and stronger than in a previous term.
It should only be growing given the situation we have on our eastern border. Michał Wawrykiewicz, Polish MEP, Civic Coalition, and of course European People's Party was our guest today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.